first order of business is adoption of the agenda. Can I get one? Okay. Councillor Stenhouse.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that council approve the minutes from the adoption of the agenda. I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah, she's pushing us along.
Camera one instead. We'll just
That we adopt the agenda as presented.
All right. Councillor Danaka.
I'd like to amend that with the proper time on the agenda. It says 7:30.
Oh, good catch.
That's
Okay.
because they were expecting a long public hearing.
Yeah. All right, any other changes to the agenda? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. There's no scheduled delegations, so we're going to ask if Richard wants to be a public. Come on, Richard. Okay, so then we move on. If Richard doesn't want to talk to us, we'll move on to confirmation of the minutes. Can you get them, Councillor Gilroy?
The council approved the minutes from the July 28th, 2020 regular meeting of council as presented.
Okay, anybody notice any errors or omissions? Okay, I see none. All those in favor? It's carried. Moving on to, I guess the new business presentation at Big Lakes County. Get a motion on that one. Councillor Danaka.
I make a motion that, subject to council's availability, all of council attend the presentation at Big Lakes County on August 26, 2020, regarding the idea of a business support network starting up in the High Prairie area.
Okay. David, go ahead.
I just wanted to bring this to council's attention again. I know I had sent it out in an email to keep that date available if you are available, and I did get a response back from some council, and not all the council can attend, but at least this way you claim for your meeting attendance at that meeting. So.
Okay, and it's just the concept of starting a business support network, and that's it. Okay. There were Councillor Gilroy.
So I was one that said I cannot do it. Is there a time frame for this? It just says it starts at 10:30 a.m. so that some of the councillors can figure out if they can make it for an hour or 2 hours or 3 or.
Go ahead. Yeah.
He didn't give me a time frame on it. It depends on how involved the conversation is, I guess, around the table. And so I wouldn't think it would be like past noon. I wouldn't believe so. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on this one? We have a motion to support anybody that can go. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to item 10.1, the amendment to land use bylaw 05-2015. Councillor Rose, or Deputy Mayor Rose.
The council gives second reading to bylaw 15-2020 to amend the land use bylaw 05-2015 this 11th day of August 2020.
Okay. We've been through this one. Any questions on this? Comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? All right. And that would lead to the next motion. Would somebody like to give this one? Councillor Portland.
The council give third and final reading to bylaw 15-2020 to amend the land use bylaw 05-2015 this 11th day of August 2020.
All right, all in favor? It's carried. All right, we're moving through here. All our CAO's report and action list.
Maybe we should get the battery changed in the clock.
Yeah. Can we get a motion on this one? Okay, Councillor Stenhouse.
That council received the CAO's Brian Martinson's report and action list for information.
All right, I'll turn it over to our CAO.
It's been a fast turnaround since the last meeting, so there hasn't been a whole bunch that's been going on, but I did attend the Recreation Master Plan meeting on August 5th. Took part in the Big Lakes Golf Tournament along with the mayor on last Thursday. And Vern Walker and Terry Hurlbert and myself are working on a new facilities agreement with Prairie River Gas Co-op. And negotiations are going very well with them people over there, so. No, once when it's done, Vern and Terry, they give us a draft copy and we're reviewing it now, and we're adding some stuff to it. And it's basically on sharing services, bodies, in case of emergency, that, we can have guys that are certified to go and, if they had a major outage or whatever, we can go and assist and whatever. And I think the thing there is we pay at like regular time and a half, so it's, nobody's gouging everybody else sort of thing, so we're fair. So it's working good, so.
Okay, nothing else? Councillor Gilroy, got a question for you?
One question, one comment. I wanted to thank our CAO for his part in getting our letter out to about the locums. So that's a very important one, and hopefully we'll have some follow-up before they do the changeover. And of course, council for finally approving it. But secondly, I noticed on here there's nothing about yesterday's meeting with Roll Global, the broadband meeting. Were you part of that? Or did it happen?
No, I couldn't access it, but I phoned the mayor to be part of it, and he was gonna basically inform council tonight of it, so, and that was before, so I didn't add it as part of my.
Yeah, and I'll fill it in on my report. Yeah. Or is Debbie? No, I'm first. I get to talk first, yeah. I had a couple of questions, and I'm just wondering about the status of the municipal stimulus project funding, and have we applied yet? We got anything in, or?
There is a project in 47th Street.
Oh, okay.
So, but we haven't heard nothing.
And I know one of the things that when I was looking through that application, it says you have to show that you're doing a red tape reduction. Are we doing anything to reduce red tape? Because that was one of their criteria that they were asking for to get the.
I didn't see that part in one of the parts. The only I talked it over with Vern and Rita, and the big fear there is as late as it is getting in the year. So if the contractors are busy now, it's a fairly big project, and we don't want them to rush or to end up putting, pavement in or concrete in if it has a chance to freeze or whatever. So, but the project could be approved and then for construction in 2021, early in 2021. So,
And maybe we can get a bid that can do it right away.
yes.
Now, okay.
Just so you know, Brian, they're in the middle of demobbing the asphalt plant out here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I seen somebody in there the other day.
Yeah, they're tearing all out, they're putting it on pieces and moving it out, so I don't know where they're moving it to, so we will not have,
A plant here.
you'll have to go far distance for the plant, just so you know.
I know the Public Works guys had dug out all down south of Fast Gas or the Esso, on that street, and they're prepping, and they're supposed to be paving, I think, Thursday and Friday they're gonna pave. And they also milled out here on 49th Street from the access on the west side of the Sports Palace, and they're gonna go down like a full block and a bit there and do a cap on that one. So they milled it out so they could tie into the gutter. We did do a gutter program on that, so they just went along that edge. And the gutter's still good, but that road's bad too, so.
I don't know what plans will have to come from, probably at, either with Tino or,
We'll haul from Peace River.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of these are-
Yeah.
Okay, and just another question, and I'm not sure, and I know we got signed up for that Alberta Emergency Management Training. I was just wondering if you've heard if anybody's been doing it, or,
I haven't heard anything since I sent the emails out, so.
oh, okay. Has anybody done it?
Not yet, no.
Not yet, okay,
I've only done the one unit.
yeah,
You guys are all signed up for it though, like
yeah.
they made a portal?
You sent the email that, with the link and whatever
Yeah,
to us.
just want to make sure it was all working because I haven't heard anything. So.
Okay, yeah, and I have to admit, I haven't been on it either. I was just wondering if anybody's been through it or we've heard. And just for my own thing, I was just wondering where we were at with AUMA, because they were changing the status to all online or one. Is that
Virtual?
virtual?
Oh, virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all virtual, and I was going to send an email out this week saying what you guys wanted to do. So I'm going to cancel the hotel rooms this week or next week, and
So the bit about sending one representative is out also.
so I haven't heard anything. I haven't canceled rooms yet because we still have until I think it's like the night before the AMA was supposed to start. So I have still waiting to hear anything
I thought it was all online.
so far.
Yes.
it's all
Since we're
online.
talking AUMA, I do remember them saying that they only mentioned one minister we could make appointments with, and that was the municipal affairs. Do you know if there's any others that we can do it, or is there's going to be any other way that if we want to do a Zoom meeting with another minister, we can make arrangements that way, since we spend AUMA trying to connect with ministers?
Well, and I wonder if they've actually allocated the time, because originally in their schedule, they would have been part of AUMA. And maybe it's a good time to try to nail down some ministry meetings, because not with, with the majority of municipalities not going in attendance, they might actually have some windows of meeting time.
It's worth a shot, not
Yeah.
against it.
Yeah, because if they've scheduled some time to be a part of that.
Yeah, but wasn't there something about which ones would be available?
They just mentioned the
just
one.
That's what I mean.
Municipal affairs.
One they
Yeah.
officially mentioned. And so I was wondering if we could get, any other ones like infrastructure or something else that we could really use in our town right now.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to see if we can get a meeting, and then I don't know who's gonna keep working if they're not going to it, and take time off just to attend online sessions, or if you're gonna, cause then you're using up holidays versus,
Do you think we'd be able to make an appointment with the RCMP? I'm just thinking, because we usually meet with them, so I wonder if we could actually meet somehow, either talk to whoever we usually talk to there, Minister of Justice, I guess, and see if we can actually have meet with that same group, or by Skype, by Zoom, because I think it's important that we always keep fresh, especially with the changing dynamics of funding and our needs in our community, and especially with what happening in last year. I'd like to meet with them again if possible.
that kinda leads me to one of the other things I had written down was, anybody heard anything about the dog handler position? Because they were supposed to be selling their place and coming down, they were worried about they had to sell their place, and was it Kelowna? Something like that. There was some concerns with trying to sell during COVID times, but I know real estate's opened up a little bit. I just haven't heard anything more, so I was wondering if have you heard anything? No.
I hadn't heard, I talked to Warren last week actually, and I never brought it up, but he never mentioned it either.
Okay, so
The
it's
dog handlers.
still on hold.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else for our CAO? All right, we had a motion to receive his report for information. All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on then to our written and verbal reports. We'll start as usual with Councillor Danaka.
No report.
Councillor Gilroy.
No official meetings, lots of meetings with the community, but no official meetings, so no report.
Okay, for myself, I did have a couple of meetings that I'll report on, and one was asked about was with Roll Global. Myself and Deputy Mayor Rose attended that one. I guess the key thing that they said to us is their role in fiber is they put down fiber and you can buy backhaul services from them. So instead of going to TELUS for a backhaul, they would be more than happy to supply us with backhaul back to theirs. They would be more than happy to put fiber in our town because we saw that they can do it pretty slick. They don't have to dig up all the roads, that kind of stuff. So they actually offered to give us a price to say what it would cost to put fiber into some of our town. And that goes to something for our CAO. Brian, can you send them that plan that we had, the plan that we had developed so that they could, he said he'd give us a rough price and then it would be an idea. We could decide if we go ahead, and I don't know if we're looking at it, but if we get a price. The other thing that was really interesting, or I thought was interesting that came out of that meeting was he said that if you don't try to put Cablevision through the coaxial cable, and instead of using, what we have for Cablevision, use that just for internet, you can get up to 600 megabits per second, which is very good speeds. And we have that throughout our town already. We do not have a cable company in town any longer. So to me, that's an intriguing possibility, right? All of a sudden, we need to find out who's got that, the rights to that cable, and maybe we could get it and get something going or get somebody in to run that. He gave a name of some internet service providers that might be interested in coming into town. I did try to contact them, but just got a voice message, left a voicemail there. But I guess it's a start, right? I don't know where it'll take us, but for me, the biggest takeaway out of all of that was the ability to use that coaxial cable. And I don't know, was there anything?
KBS cable.
KBS cable, because it's not being used for cable TV anymore. So if you put that, and that's what he said. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what he said.
That cable is very obsolete, isn't it? And I'll just tell you my own experience is in my backyard, their cable ran there for many years, and I was after them, come bury your cable, come bury your cable. And they didn't. So I just fired up the rotor tiller and I buried it for them in 100 pieces. So you're really gonna have to look into that cable.
Yeah, well, and it might not be into every house, but I mean, it is going to be at the majority of our residents. So people that wanted to hook up, they probably could, and it would be very easy. I mean, even if the cable that came from whatever junction box is closest to your house, if you decided to join on, and cable was a viable way to get good internet speeds, they could hook that up quick and inexpensively, right? It's not that expensive. Exactly. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Find out if something could come out of it.
You might be able to get the whole infrastructure for all that, 10 cents on the dollar.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's
because
it, yeah, and if we can enhance what we have, even if it's not the same level as going the whole gamut and getting fiber, then I think we should pursue it. I mean, there's some challenges attached to it, but I think that right now we're struggling. You're hearing lots of complaints about Wi-Fi in town, like our people's service, and it really is going to be what's going to make or break some of these small communities. If we're not able to stay with some level of service, we're gonna have a hard time retaining. So I would be all over if we could do the cable thing, because I don't see it as a huge cost. If we just need to get a provider that wants to use the cable, because the cable is there. So if it works, the actual infrastructure cost should be minimal. It really should just be, and it could even be a temporary fix, you know, until a person was able to make a deal with putting fiber down.
go ahead.
Just like to remind council that we are, at least the broadband committee is meeting with the county end of this month, and to let council know as well that someone did contact me, a company that was wanting to do some of that stuff, and the mayor should be talking about that. I'm not saying now, but I'm just saying that I'm trying to arrange a meeting where we can discuss these issues as well. So it's nice that we're thinking about these things, and I can't wait to see by the end of August all the different options we have, because I think we will have some very good options that actually will be financially viable as well as fiscally smart for us.
Yeah, he hasn't contacted me, by the way, just
But
so
I'm
you
just-
know. Yeah, have you been able to get in touch with him?
I can easily get that.
Okay, like he hasn't reached
Yeah.
out to me yet, just so. Okay, so that was the meeting with Roll Global. I was also invited by the county to meet with Pat Wren and also with the mayor of Swan Hills, Craig. We met with him in Slave Lake last Friday night, sort of for a supper meeting. And I guess the main reason for the county wanting to meet with the MLA was to talk about the linear assessments and what they were doing there, and make sure that that was quite clear. And I mean, I supported the county in saying, you know what, this change could impact the county big time, which is going to spill over onto us. And so we're in full support with the county, because if they're losing money, then we're going to be losing money as a result of it also. So that was part of the message. I did talk about the locum issue with them at the same time, and told them to be expecting a letter that'll be coming in the mail right away. But you know, that assessment issue, the more I think about it, it's going to hit us in a couple of ways, because the other thing that's going to happen is the education tax that the county pays is going to drop, because their assessed value is going to be going down. And as that drops, somebody else has got to pick up all of the costs for education. So, you know, other residential users and businesses are going to be paying more as a result of that. So it's going to hit us directly and I guess indirectly when it comes to that. So hopefully that won't be a big burden on us, but I think we can wait and see what they do with that motion. But if it goes through, we can anticipate a tax increase that has nothing to do with us, but it will likely be coming as a result of that change. And I guess the only other thing that was really there was mention the golf tournament. And it was nothing like the other golf tournaments that we've been to. It was more just some of the counselors or the other from the rare area. There was only 16 golfers. That was mainly from the other areas. We had the engineers in there and stuff, but very low-key, quiet golf tournament, that one. Okay, that's it. Any other questions? Seeing none, I move my report for information. All those in favor? Carried. Councillor Courtley?
Quick verbal, attended the Recreation Master Plan meeting with Brian and the rest of the crew. I was late, of course, but that's how I go. Went well. Some directives out of that. Basically, we're trying to get just about ready to launch survey. What was the date?
14th.
14th. So we're gonna release a survey to the public, to the town and the community, surrounding communities, on recreation and what they see or deem as needs in our community, or how we can expand on our existing facilities. So just to put an ask out there to see what. Plus, it was the first meeting with our two.
Members at large.
What do you call them? Members at large. Sorry, right.
Or volunteers, I guess.
Volunteers
We're asking for volunteers.
to help and put in their opinions. So it was a good meeting. Secondly, I was at the airport meeting. We had an airport meeting, and basically out of that, fairly busy out there. We have set a date for our grand opening. They're going to do a fly-in lunch. So they're going to cook burgers and stuff. And that's on the 27th of August. So I think it's from 11 to 3.
Which would be our broadband meeting day.
So what does that mean? Is everyone invited to this, or is this just for the plane?
I'm putting it out to all counselors. It's because we have a vested interest in it, right? So come and take part. But at the same time, so it should be a lot of we put it out to a lot of the other airports, and there's a lot of other flying groups, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, so we put in. That's why it's on the 27th. Is because we're involved in it'd be an airplane poker rally for antique and old planes and different things. So it's coming through from Bowden.
Air Canada planes, okay.
Could be, yeah. Not WestJet, but Air Canada. But anyways, we're hoping that they can. They're going to be flying in and out. There's a 4 or 5 day window, but we've let them know that we're going to do a lunch and stuff on that day. So we're hoping a lot of the planes will fly in that day. So that's kind of cool. They've.
What time did you say it starts?
11 to 3.
11 to 3?
I think it's 11, yeah. 11 to 3. So that's on the 27th. So,
And like I say, same day as the broadband meeting, but it'll overlap with that, but
a little bit.
probably get out
Yeah,
there.
so I'll be out there.
Isn't that one like 10 to 12 or something like that for broadband?
We got quite the issue with how to organize with the food, though, with COVID and regulations and all that stuff, right? So there's some hurdles there. Good thing I'm not involved in that part. I'm just going to show up and hand out water bottles. But yeah, so that's kind of cool, kind of exciting. Yeah, that's all I got. Move my verbal report for information.
Go ahead, Councillor Gilroy.
Actually, I just need confirmation on a rumor. Did the original county person from Canuso resign? And did you get a new one, or is that person still on there?
Well, I can say that the county person is from Canuso is still there.
Okay.
He was at the meeting with
She was there.
the MLA from Canuso. It's a he, Ken Colleen.
No.
We're not talking.
No, I'm talking the member at large for. I'm
I'm
talking the member at large for the recreation
okay.
master plan. I'd heard that the person.
They reappointed somebody
they reappoint somebody else. That's all I wanna know.
Oh, I didn't know, I didn't know who they appointed, I just noticed that when they showed up
Yeah, I
that
was
day.
confused because there was an appointment from a lady at Canuso,
And
and
then she
then,
resigned within a couple days.
and she resigned, okay, is that what
Yeah.
happened? And so they chose John Patton after that.
There was one of the two, she was appointed, he wasn't, she resigned for some reason, so I was just wondering how they filled it. That's good.
Okay, he moved his report for information. All those in favor? Councillor Rose?
So I'll just elaborate on the one meeting. Everybody else has attended with me and reported, so we don't need to regurgitate them all. But the Recreation Master Plan meeting did go very well, and MMFA are working on some additions to, or some changes to the surveys that they provided us 2 examples of surveys. Surveys are going to go online on the 14th, and we're going to have 30 days to have, that's a period of time that they're going to be out there for people to complete. So if everybody could share them, they say, one, do them, right? Sometimes council thinks that we're not supposed to really do them. Do them and share them. There'll be copies out at the town office and the county office, and we're also putting information about it on the newsletter. So residents and the pool, yeah, it'll be at the pool. So any place where we could think that the people would actually go and grab them. So yeah, if you can, we found that the beekeeping survey, we talked about that a little bit in our meeting, and there was a couple hundred surveys that were completed. Was that what he said? 300 surveys. Yeah. So that
Which was high.
yeah. So we're seeing decent response. So I think if we keep on pushing that, then we're going to get some response. And we did make one change on the survey that was, was up for discussion, and we decided to ask for residents of the town, their opinion, residents, you're supposed to check where you're from, town, county, and then we had other, and we decided to put other, but we also decided to add First Nation or Métis communities as a specific point, and not just other. So when and I guess that was probably, that's probably it. I just wanted to make sure everybody, when you saw it, that we forwarded it and we shared it and we pushed it a little bit so we can get some feedback, right?
So that's a paper survey. Is it online as well?
So it'll be online, yeah, it'll be online on the website, it'll be online on Facebook, and it will be a paper survey. And it'll be available in different parts of the community, and I just forwarded that information to Richard, so maybe he can pre-chat about it in the paper so people are watching for it.
Perfect.
So
August 14th for 30 days.
yeah, so
I want
that's
to get
all
this
I-
right because I want to promote it.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I think it'll be nice. It'll be interesting to see kind of the feedback. We're sort of actually hoping, that everybody feels a little bit invested in it, and then moving forward, if funding changes, we maybe have more people at the table to chat with about it. So anyway, that's all I have. If anybody has questions, otherwise I move my verbal report for information.
No questions, so all those in favor? It is carried. And Councillor Stenhouse.
And I have no report.
All right. Okay. Okay. So moving on to the next one, I'll make the motion that council moved into a closed session as per section 17 and 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection Act, and in accordance of section 197 subsection 2 of the Municipal Government Act.
What time do you want to do that?
Well, he'll write it down. As,
At 7:45.
45.
She wants a break.
35.
You want slow?
well, we need a little break while
We've
get
rushed through a
things
lot of
ready,
work
so.
tonight.
45. 7:45.
Yeah.
You 10 minutes.
Okay.
Smoke it with you, guys.